everybody? I hope you guys are having a great summer. For pretty much everyone who watches this video, they're actually all my friends, so thanks guys. I hope you guys are actually having a really good summer. I've been super busy between 4th of July, traveling, graduation, everything. I haven't had time to make any videos. So, of course we have the American flag up because we have to support America. It's 4th of July. We have to. And this is actually an American-made truck for all you people who think this is Japanese. It's American-made in Illinois. That's right. This video is actually going to be really hard to make because this is the top 5 things I do not like about this Toyota. Uh-oh. So before we actually get into the video, we are actually going to be restoring my headlights with this Turtle Wax headlight restore kit. Actually, it works really well. I've used this before. Yeah, paint's so smooth it just slides right off. So we will be doing this briefly. So right now we're going to be hitting it with lens clarifying compound, which it obviously is not focusing at all. So basically the whole main goal for this was to make this headlight housing be just, ooh, I touched it, I don't know if that's bad or not, be just as clear as that, because those lid looked really bad when they weren't the same, but now they definitely are. So hopefully this lasts a long time. And I'll keep you guys updated as the videos go on how long this actually lasts and when I have to add some more stuff. So back to the regular video. So none of these things are in actually a particular order, but number 1 is actually cabin space. This truck is extremely small in the back, and this is Toyota's full-size truck, especially back in 2003. And actually, you know, everyone would say, hey, why don't you just get the 4-door? But actually, in 2003, this was actually the largest cab option that you could get for this truck, which really kind of made you think, do I really want this Toyota? Because there is no space back here to put anything, really. So cab space is really a downside to this truck. Usually, if people want to sit in the back, it's for a very short amount of times. All my friends complain about it. It's one of the biggest downfalls of this truck is the size of this cab is not big at all. Number 4 on this list is actually a part of the inside, and that is the interior. Now, granted, this is 2003, and 2003 is not a very, pinnacle year for trucks or cars in general, but this interior is nothing but plastic. And, obviously, it's 2003. You get what you pay for, especially in 2003 wise. But there's actually some really cheap plastics inside this, and it just really doesn't make it feel all that, durable, especially on the inside. So number 3 on this list is actually not necessarily on this truck anymore because I fixed it, but number 3 is the factory rake that this truck has with its original tires, rims, and no lift on. This truck literally sits like it's about to nosedive into the concrete and just plummet its way into its own death. I think the rake on these is a little too much, and I think part of the reason for that is because it's a TRD off-road. You have all the off-road suspension, it's a lot softer, and this truck is still rated to tow over 7,000 pounds. So when you load up 7,000 pounds in the rear, it definitely would make the truck squat. So I kind of see what they're doing, but from the factory, and this truck being the way that it is, not being the most tow-worthy truck or anything like that, but I mean, you wouldn't buy this kind of truck to tow with, especially if you have other options with diesels and stuff like that. But I think the original rake on this truck is just much too intense for what this truck is designed for, and especially with the TRD off-road. Now granted, even with the front rake, this truck came, I believe, with around 8.5 to 9 inches of ground clearance. Now obviously up with the lift, we are obviously up around the 12 to 13 inch ground clearance range, which is definitely very respectable. So that's definitely my 3rd gripe about the truck, is how they engineered the suspension towards that. Now please excuse how dirty this engine bay is. You know me and my detailing that this should be crystal clean, kind of like the outside of the truck. But my 2nd complaint is actually the cold startups. This truck does not like being cold started very much at all. It makes lots of rattles and ticks, especially from the lifters and the valves. So there definitely is a lot of noise coming from this motor in the cold startups. Once it's warmed up and everything, it runs like a champion, of course, but it definitely does not like the cold starts whatsoever. And this truck only has about 150,000 miles on it, and it's got the right kind of battery and everything, but it doesn't sound like it wants to run at all. So that's kind of a downside to this car. Normally, with this, especially a pickup truck like this, you'd expect it to just start right up and say, all right, let's rock and roll, let's get the show on the road. But this one likes to warm up a little bit, that's for sure. And now for the number one complaint about this truck, and this one I have to say actually is my number one complaint about this truck, and that actually would be the transmission. I think the transmission in this truck definitely takes away from the engine. This transmission under there is actually only a 4-speed with an overdrive. And granted, this isn't a very high horsepower V8, around 250 horsepower, some, you know, close to that. It definitely takes down away from the truck. It shifts pretty hard, and it's definitely a mechanically, you know, thunking kind of a transmission. It's not very smooth. I mean, it gets you where you want it to go, don't get me wrong, but because of that, you know, your gas mileage kind of suffers with it because you only have 4 shifts you can do. Although it is engineered pretty well, you know, 3rd and 4th are pretty close together for when you're towing and stuff like that, and you have to go up hills. 2nd's pretty close, but 1st gears are pretty long gear. You can hit pretty high up in the mile-per-hour range on only 1st gears, so it has its drawbacks with the transmission. I think it also acts better when the engine's cold. It shifts a lot smoother, and it keeps the RPM down lower. And when the truck actually warms up, the shifting points aren't exactly where I'd want them to be. So I mean that could be a quote-unquote simple fix, but that's definitely the number one drawback to this truck is the transmission. It definitely restricts from the power and what else this truck can do. So I hope you guys actually enjoyed this video, because this was not very easy to make. Finding 5 things that I do not like about this truck is actually really hard to do, and it really makes you think about the engineering of the truck and how it was designed and what it was intended for. So obviously, with that being the field of study that I want to go into when I'm older, automotive engineering, it kind of makes you really think about why they did the things that they did and how you could improve on it. But overall, I really do love this truck. I wouldn't trade this truck for a world unless it was a brand new one. That's kind of the next goal in life, is to get a brand new Tundra, obviously. But I'm actually very happy with this truck, and have obviously no intentions soon on selling it or anything like that. But it's just, those are the 5 things that I don't like about this truck. Obviously, hopefully the next video is going to be the 5 things that I do love about this truck. And yeah, I mean, I'm glad I'm back on YouTube, back on that kind of subject really quick. I was just busy for a really long time with traveling, graduation from high school and stuff like that. So really glad to be out here making videos again. Hopefully in the near future, I plan on doing some power modifications. Power, it's debatable whether it really helps, but yeah, so hopefully I'll be getting back into this. I think this video is more geared towards the edits, trying to experiment with a couple new things and all the stuff like that. Sorry if I'm squinting and like closing my eyes. The sun's directly in my eyes right now, so it kind of hurts when I want to put the sun to the camera. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully we'll see you guys a lot sooner than last time. Sorry about that really long upload, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.